What we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about exponential power. So it's going to look very similar to what we did last class, but this is just going to kind of mix everything together. So if I look at this first example right here, I have expressed the following fraction in simplest form using only positive exponents. So when I first look at this, in order to simplify, what I have to do first is I need to look at the numerator and I need to do something with this exponent right here. So the first thing that I need to do is apply that to what's in the parentheses. So I have d to the second power. Whenever we have an exponent on the outside and an exponent on the inside, what we do is we're going to multiply those numbers. So now I'm going to keep my 3 and I'm going to multiply 5 times 2. So 5 times 2 is going to be 10. So I have 3d to the 10th power over 12d to the second. So now what I'm going to do is now I can simplify. So I'm going to simplify my numbers first. So I think of what number can I take out of 3 and 12. And that number is going to be 3. So if I take out 3 in both, I have 1, and I don't need to write that on top. So I'm going to keep my d to the 10th. And then I'm going to take out 3 out of 12, and that gives me 4. So I have 4d to the second. Now I need to simplify my variable, which is d. So I have d to the 10th up top, d to the second down bottom. And what I need to do is I need to subtract and take 2 out of both. So when I take 2 out of the top, that leaves me with d to the 8th power over, and then the d cancel out right here. So I have 4. So I have d to the 8th power over 4. And that's going to be my answer for number 1. If I go to the next one, I'm going to do something very similar, but on this one, I need to simplify the denominator. So I'm going to do the same thing, and it's going to look very similar. So apply that 5 to u2 in the denominator. So I have 3u10 on top. Don't do anything with that yet. And then I have 3u10 on the bottom. So if I have the exact same thing on the top and the bottom, when we cancel those out, that doesn't just give us 0, but that's going to give our answer as 1, because it would be 1 over 1. So our answer is just 1 on this second one. And that's all you would do on that one. Let's move down to the next. This one, I just have c in the parentheses in my numerator, so I just need to simplify that. So I have 5. I just apply that power of 2 to c, so I have 5c to the second over 3c to the 9th. Now, first thing I need to look is if I can simplify the 5 and the 3. All right. Can I take out of it? Can I take any number out of 5 and 3? No, I cannot. So now I need to go over to C and look at my variables and what can I take out of. So I have 2 up top and I have 9 down below. So I'm going to subtract those and keep the bigger number where it's at. So I'm going to take out this C to the second, subtract 2 from 9, and that is going to leave me with 5 over C to the 7th. Okay, we're going to do one more example with this. I'm just going to go over to number 7. So number 7, first thing I need to do is just simplify out and get rid of the parentheses. So I'm going to take that exponent of 2 and apply it right here to my p to the second power. So that gives me 3, and I just multiply those numbers. So 3p to the 4th over 12p to the 5th. With these numbers, first thing I want to do is, can I simplify 3 and 12? Well, like in that first example we had, I had 3 and 12, and I can take out 3 out of both those. So that leaves me with 1 over 4. I don't need to worry about the 1. And I'll just put p to the 4th over 4p to the 5th. So now, when I simplify, I have p to the 4th on top and p to the 5th on bottom. So my bigger number's on the bottom, so that leaves me with 4p on the bottom. And I still need to put a number on top. Well, like we said earlier, there's still that 1, so I'm just going to put 1 right here so we can actually have a number there. So then I'll have 1 over 4p. So if there's no variable, then you want to worry about putting that number 1 right here into that spot. Then we're going to look at some that deal with negatives. So let's go ahead and look at this example right here. So again, I've expressed the following fraction in simplest form only using positive exponents. So this time I'm dealing with a lot of negatives here. So first thing I want to do is I want to simplify out my my parentheses first. So I have everything inside the parentheses this time, so I need to apply the power of 2 to -3, and the power of 2 to c to the fourth. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my -6c to the -2nd, and then I'm going to do -3 squared. Whenever I have a negative number that is squared by a positive number, it's going to come out as positive. So that's going to be 3 to the power of 2, which is 9. And then I'm going to have c to the fourth, multiply those, and I have c to the eighth now. Now, can I have a negative exponent? No. So what I need to do is I need to move that negative exponent to the bottom to make it positive. That doesn't mean I have to change my -6. I can still have a negative number on top, just no negative variables and exponents. So I'm going to keep my -6 on top and put it over 9, c to the eighth, and now I have c to the second. So now when I simplify, I'm going to put that right here, is I have -6, 9, and then I need to add those exponents. When they're together, you're going to add them, not multiply. So 9 c to the 10th, okay? And then I can simplify one last thing. One last thing I can simplify is my two numbers. What can I take out of -6 and 9? All right, when I look at that, I can take out 3. So I'm going to have my -2 is going to be on top, because when you take out a 3 out of 6, it gives you -2. I'm going to put 2. I'm going to put a negative sign in front of the whole answer. So when you put it into delta math, just make sure you put that negative number in front of your whole answer, so in front of your fraction. And then when we take out 3 out of 9, that's going to leave me with 3c to the 10th power. All right, and there is my answer. Let's go ahead and look at another one. Let's just scroll over and look at this one. Okay, this one's going to be very similar to that last one, except this time it is on the numerator. So I need to apply this exponent of 3 to my number and the variable. So this time I have negative in the exponent, and my exponent is a odd number. So I need to do -3 to the power of 3. So when I put 3 cubed into my calculator, it gives me 27. But since it's an odd exponent and a negative number, it's going to be -27. If you were to put this in your calculator, all right, if it's like a number you don't know how to solve, you need to make sure in your calculator you put your negative number in parentheses and then put whatever exponent that you have. And then that can help tell you if it's going to be negative or positive. So make sure you put it in parentheses and then put your squared, your cubed, if it's to the fifth power, and so on. Okay, so I have -27, and then I need to apply the 3 to x to the -2. So what's -2 times 3? That's going to be x to the -6th power. That is going to be over 12x to the second. Can I have a negative on exponent? No, I cannot. So what I need to do is I need to move it down. So that leaves me with -27 over 12x to the second, x to the sixth. And then what I have to finally do is just make sure to add those exponents. So I have -27 over 12x to the eighth. Can I take out of anything out of 27 and out of 12? I can. I can simplify one last thing. You can take out 3 out of 27 and 12. So I'm going to take out 3 real quick. So when I take out 3, that's going to leave me with 9 on top, and then 4x to the 8th on bottom. And there's my answer. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to these negative exponents, because that's where it's going to get a little bit more tricky. And then finally, you are going to have questions that are going to deal with a lot of negatives. So if I go to this page, First thing that I'm looking at is number 25. So number 25 has a lot going on with it, but let's go ahead and look at it. So I've expressed the following fraction in simplest form, only using positive exponents. First thing I need to do is I need to get rid of my parentheses. So I need to deal with what's on the top. So I'm going to apply this negative, the power of -4 to my 3, to d5, and to x to the negative 2 power. So when you do this, um, you want to make sure that you apply the negative number.